Good morning, everyone. My name is Juan Whistle, as you already know. And today I'll be talking to you guys about the role of energy in your future and how to prepare yourself and inform yourself for the inevitable changes that are coming. So let me start off with a question to all of you. Raise your hands if you plan on having children, maybe in your future. Maybe you plan on even staying in Florida for your future. I mean, I've lived here for 15 of the 18 years of my life, and this is home to me. But by the end of the century, this is what Florida might look like. Not a really great place to live in. The fact of the matter is we're going down into a burning ring of fire, and we've been increasing every year our global temperature by about 1.4 degrees. That's been the general rise since the 1900s. So over the last century, we've increased our temperature, the global temperature of the Earth, by 1.4 degrees Celsius or 0.8 degrees, 0.8 degrees Celsius. The dead spot is once we reach 2 degrees Celsius, and the sad fact of the matter is that that's going to happen regardless. By the end of this century, we're going to hit, even because realistically in this world, we're not going to stop all carbon emissions at this instant and then just radically change the world in 1 second. It's not going to happen. The change that's going to happen is coming because we're going to be desperate for it. If not, we're really just going to be burying our own grave. But even with a nice, slow progress into a change in our energy sources, we're going to eventually hit that 2 degrees Celsius point by the end of our century. So this is going to have a lot of negative impacts. My friends in our previous speech also already talked about coral reefs being destroyed through coral bleaching. The Guardian posted this article saying that 5 islands in the Pacific have already been flooded completely due to rises in the sea level. So these are some of the effects that are happening in our world. So thinking about your future, what are you going to need? We're all growing up quickly. We're all about to reach that point in our lives where we have to make these big decisions about our future. Maybe the house that you're going to own in the future, or the car that's going to get you from point A to point B. Logistically, you have to support that family that you just said you wanted somehow, right? So my question is, why would you buy a gasoline-powered car right now when oil demand is going to peak at around the year 2030 or 2035 and decline from there? Because at that point, everyone is going to realize that we're not going to have, we already realize this, that we're not going to have enough oil to last us forever. And a change is going to start happening, a change in our society, to where we start moving away from oil and into the future. So again, the reasons not to look into gas-powered cars and oil is because it harms our planet and it's running out. It has a very short lifetime left for our lives and for the future generations. So here's my solution for you guys. Change your goals. Adapt them to the future. Instead of looking at maybe this is your dream car, how about a Tesla? And the great thing is that we're reaching this incline in technologies where batteries are becoming ever more efficient and cheaper. And that's like 1/3 of the price of a Tesla. So pretty soon, you're going to be able to buy these like your normal car. And this baby right here, she can get recharged halfway, the entire battery, in only 20 minutes. So say you're doing a long road trip and then you just stop for some food, you charge your car at the local electric stop instead of a gas station, and in 20 minutes you're ready to go another 170 miles. It's a great advance in our technology. The rise of electric cars is just as inevitable as the climate changes that are coming. According to this diagram by Bloomberg New Energy Finance, electric vehicles will account for 35% of all new vehicle sales by the year 2022. That change is coming, guys. Another change that you could look is in your housing even. The maximum estimated global solar resource is roughly 4 orders of magnitude higher than humanity's energy use today. There's a lot of untapped power that we can harness from the sun, and doing this actually decreases your electricity bill. And if you think that looks ugly, Tesla and Solar City are working on this beautiful new arrangement where the solar panels are very thin and look just like regular panels in your house. The way that solar housing works is that you gain and then you convert energy from the sun into DC current. Your transmitter turns that, or your inverter, turns that into alternating current, and then that will take from the energy you absorb from the sun, all that energy is being used up during the day. Whatever leftover energy you have, gets sent into the wires and onto the grid. And thus, you're going to be actually paying less because you're going to be gaining credit on your own electricity bill. Thankfully, this past election, we voted no on this amendment, yes on one, or amendment number 1. It was a big kind of tricky scheme by a bunch of major corporations like ExxonMobil, FPL, and Gulf Power, and many others to try to promote this healthy-looking pro-solar movement. But actually, all it was trying to do was restrict everyone's power to use these things for their own. And it would restrict you from gaining credit and being able to do this individually. And the wonderful thing that I'm seeing is that changes are already being done. Just yesterday, in the International Business Times, this article came out showing that in India, they now have the world's largest solar power plant, and is expected to power 150,000 homes. By 2022, India is aiming at powering 60 million homes, and they aim to also provide more than 40% of their own energy through non-oil and non-fossil fuel sources by the year 2030. This all happens because their people believe in this and they're rallying behind it. And so once this happens here, we can see the same changes taking place in our society. Besides these solutions, there are some other more minuscule solutions that you can take, such as using electricity monitors that you can set up with your transmitter and let you know exactly how much energy you're using with each application. And also taking action today. Just be aware of the energy that you're wasting. Turning off one 60 watt-hour light bulb will save you about 1,000 pounds of carbon dioxide emissions over its lifetime, rather than if you were wasting it. So be aware of these things, plan for your future, and make sure that our children and their children will still have a healthy home to live in. Thank you.